Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We're going to continue climbing the ladder with the Mega Alakazam team built by Hibiki VGC that we featured last week, since I only got 4 episodes with it, and it's a pretty fun team, so I'm excited to use it further. Currently sitting with a rating of 1615 as we kick off today and the week off with the Mega Alakazam team. As always, if you enjoy Road to Rank, please show your support by leaving a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. I figured this team has been a lot of fun to use, and I definitely haven't explored it to its full potential yet. I know one of the things that a lot of people were saying in the comments was how I wasn't using Skill Swap probably as much as I could have, since Skill Swap on Mega Alakazam is really fun. But we're going to find Cody from Washington with a rating of 1568 to kick off today's episode. Cody really seems to love his fire types here, with an Infernape, Charizard, Talonflame, Blaziken, Entei, and then a Tornadus, which just kind of seems like a completely random given everything else on the team, but pretty scary team in general here. I think Alakazam plus Landorus can be really good just because of the fact that I get the Intimidate off with Landorus, and then Alakazam can just throw Psychics off, and none of his team can resist Psychics. So I'm inclined to lead with those two. I want Rotom in the back for sure. And for the last one, it's kind of a toss-up. I think Virizion can actually be pretty helpful here because Close Combat / Stone Edge does damage to everything. Bishop's not the worst of calls, but Volcarona not really going to do too much against a team of a whole team of fire types and then a Tornadus. Don't really know what to expect here. Doesn't look like the most competitive of teams, but it's going to be an exciting match when you see so many cool fire Pokemon. Of course, using one type really limits yourself in VGC because it limits the amount of switches you can make and the attacks that you really have access to. So we'll see what his offensive options are really. But except, I'm still expecting a fun match. He's got some really cool Pokemon. Looks like we're going to see the Infernape and Charizard lead for my opponent. So immediately I can go straight for the Protect here and the Mega Evolution to get the speed boost. Though I wonder if he's going to fake out my Landorus or my Alakazam, because he probably thinks I'm Choice Scarfed with Landorus, so I'd assume he's going to fake out Alakazam. Fake out Landorus and go for maybe something like just a Heat Wave. I should be able to survive a Heat Wave, I think, so I can kind of just go for a Mega Evolution. The thing is, Infernape probably has Focus Sash. Without the Scarf here, I actually am inclined to switch out. Or I could just go for an attack immediately. I could just go for the Psychic, but I'd prefer not to. Let's see, with Rotom in the back, I could also just Mega Evolve here and switch out into Rotom. But you know what? I'm just gonna go for the Psychic onto the Infernape, and yeah, I'm gonna switch out into Rotom here, I think. Just because I think Landorus, obviously just beats my opponent's entire team with Earthquake / Rock Slide. So I'm just going to go for the Psychic here on Alakazam. I suspect he's going to fake out the Landorus slide. I could have went for the Protect with Alakazam, but it'd be really fantastic if I could break the Infernape's Focus Sash immediately. Presumably it does have Focus Sash, but scary lead here, especially because I don't have the Choice Scarf with Landorus. So I'm going to trace the Blaze, which obviously isn't going to help me, but Charizard is going to be Charizard Y, Mega Evolving. Obviously with the Sun team, or with the Fire type team, you want to take advantage of the Sun and boost all your Fire type attacks. So that is going to be able to set up the Drought, which of course will set up the Sun. Now the question is, who does Infernape fake out? Fake out comes out. Yep, targets the Landorus slot as expected. Alakazam is going to be able to get the Psychic off against Infernape, bringing it down to its presumed Focus Sash. Yep. And Charizard here, probably going to launch a Heat Wave off. Oh wow, he goes for the Tailwind instead. That's even cooler. So I wasn't anticipating that move, but really nice one on my opponent's end. That actually makes this match a lot scarier. And definitely was not anticipating that, but I probably should have been. I mean, this next one I can go for the safe Double Protect just to see what he wants to go for. But I could also switch out. I'd rather just Double Protect here, though. I want to scout out what both of his Pokemon do, see if he pulls out any switches or whatnot. Yep, he's going to stay with both, which I'm alright with. But man, that's scary. Tailwind Charizard is actually growing in popularity. Blake Hopper used to get it third at US Nationals with it. He launches an Overheat into Alakazam and a Solar Beam here onto Rotom Wash. So, that's alright. Rotom might have enough HP to survive a Solar Beam, though I'm not entirely sure here. I could switch into Landorus to take the Overheat. I could also actually just switch into Virizion to take the Solar Beam. Do I want to risk that though? I mean, if he just launches a Heat Wave, obviously I'm in a lot of trouble, but I'm inclined to go for that. You know what? I think Rotom's too important to take too much damage because his entire team is fire type, whereas Virizian's obviously a grass type, so not as important, I think, in this matchup. So I'm going to bring in Landers here. Unfortunately, Intimidate not really helping me out too much. We've seen Fake Out, we've seen Overheat from Infernape, presumably a fighting type attack, and then maybe Feint or Protect. And then we've seen Tailwind, and we've seen Solar Beam from Charizard, so probably Heat Wave, maybe Flamethrower though, since a lot of players now like to opt for that 100% accurate move. Infernape's gonna actually miss the Overheat on Landers. I wouldn't have minded it connecting just because it would have meant the -2 special attack drop, but you know, I escaped damage there. Virizian's gonna take the Solar Beam, but eats it up pretty nicely there. So in this next turn, I'm just going to go straight for the Rock Slide here with Landers and Protect with Virizian. And who knew an Infernape and Charizard lead could give this team so much trouble, but it just doesn't have great matchups against fire types. So I'm going to go for the Protect here. I'm not going to Protect with Landers. He's just going to launch an Overheat once again with Infernape. We'll see how much it was supposed to do the first time around. As still does a really good amount even with the Assault Vest, so I think Heat Wave here will be able to knock me out as it should. But the nice thing here is I basically set myself so I can get the Alakazam back in, and then I can just Psychic Stone Edge. So unfortunately having to sacrifice the Landers there, but perhaps switching out into Rotom Wash might have been a better call there, and in retrospect I do think that was probably the better play. But as long as I connect with Stone Edge here, this game should be mine. Of course, hard to say, but just based off whom he has in the back, as I trace the drop, but that's not going to matter since it doesn't overlap with my opponent's drop. So, just going to go for the Psychic here on Infernape and basically pray that Stone Edge connects. One of the, lamer things of relying on Stone Edge is because it's only 80% accuracy and Virizian's a grass type. If you're using it against fire types like Charizard, if you miss, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble since Heat Wave heavily punishes you by picking up a knockout. So, really risky, and I think it would have been a lot smarter for me to just switch out into Rotom Wash last turn, but I was like, you know what, Landers has an Assault Vest, maybe he can take a combination of the attacks, clearly not. And I thought maybe my opponent would have tried to predict me, but in that position, Overheat plus Heat Wave is the obvious play there, so it would have been better for me to switch out into Rotom Wash, and my opponent able to fully capitalize off it. So this is a really, really big turn here. Charizard actually goes for the Protect, which is really smart, especially if he has Talonflame in the back, which I'm kind of scared of right now. So I'm going to be able to get the Psychic off against Infernape, but I think he brought Talonflame, and Talonflame should be able to come in for free here, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to conserve that Landers. So this game just got a lot scarier. Sunlight, however, fades, which kind of helps in terms of dealing with Heat Waves, but I suspect Talonflame's going to be switching in here, but let's see. Regardless, good Protect from my opponent's end there. Does confirm the fourth move on Charizard, but it's actually going to be Blaziken switching in here, which I'm more than okay with, because he kind of has to Protect, so I can just go for the Psychic on a Blaziken and the Stone Edge once again. So, similar position here, just basically hoping Stone Edge connects. Unfortunately, I don't have many other options. I could switch out into Rotom Wash. Blaziken's going to go for the Protect here, which makes sense. So let's see if Stone Edge connects with the Charizard. Psychic's obviously going to go into that. Stone Edge fortunately connects with Charizard, awesome. So that's going to be able to pick up the one-hit KO, and instantly we went from being down 3-4 to being up 3-2. Virizian taking some damage, but Blaziken here is going to get the speed boost, which is a bit scary. Now let's see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. The game will heavily be based off that, but with the Rotom Wash in the back still sitting at, near full HP, it'll be a tough one for my opponent to close out. Looks like Entei's going to be his last one. So, what I'm going to do this next turn is, knowing that he's not faster with the Entei, I can just Psychic and Close Combat the Blaziken to pick up a knockout, and then Rotom Wash should be able to 1v1 Entei with relative ease, even if my opponent picks up a double knockout here. But Alakazam is actually still faster because it's so naturally fast. So I do just actually get a Psychic off and knock out the Blaziken, which is fantastic there. So Blaziken goes down, and that's basically going to seal up the game because Virizian's also guaranteed this close combat against Entei. Picks up a lot, not picks up a KO, but does a ton of damage there as Entei falls under 50%. He's probably going to go for a Sacred Fire here, maybe a Substitute, which some Enteis like to go for. He actually carries Heat Wave here, which I'm pretty surprised to see since most Enteis are more physical. Unfortunately misses the Heat Wave on Virizian, but with Alakazam and with Rotom Wash in the back, not much my opponent could have done in that position. So it's going to be a 3-0 win here, but still, really, really scary game just because this team doesn't have many fire resists. Obviously I can't deal with fire types very well with Virizian or my Alakazam. So Rotom Wash, obviously was the Pokemon I was relying on in the end game, but surprisingly he didn't bring Talonflame. I think if he had Talonflame there and was able to switch it in, I actually would have been in a lot of trouble. And I definitely didn't see that Tailwind coming either, but that was something maybe I should have anticipated a bit better since, it's definitely a viable move on Charizard, and like I mentioned, Blake Hopper brought it to a top 4 finish at US Nationals. So, close call there against a really fun and unique team there. It's not every day you get to see, Infernape, Blaziken, Charizard, and Entei, especially all on the same team. But a good game to my opponent there. We're going to look for our next opponent of the day. So really hoping to reach the 1700s, maybe 1750s by the end of the week. I am still learning with this team as I go along, but it's been a really, really fun team to use. We're going to find a pretty highly rated opponent here, a 17-18 rated player from Japan, to kick off the second game. And wow, what a team this is. Scrafty, Salamence, Cloyster, Aegislash, Amoonguss, and Meowstic. So a lot of really interesting choices here. Don't even know where to start here. So Alakazam's still really helpful, especially against Amoonguss and Salamence, because I can just Psychic and hit him Power Ice, which will go a long way in this match. But also gonna need to avoid some threats. Alakazam Volcarona might actually be the way to go in this game. Just because I can redirect attacks away, though if Salamence has Hyper Voice, that might cause some issues. I'm actually tempted to go with Alakazam and Volcarona, though I don't know, he also has two, it looks like Bishop's really good in this match because he has two Intimidate users, nothing that really hits Bishop for too hard. So I'm trying to think here, maybe Alakazam Bishop's actually my best lead option here. I like that a lot, yeah, I think. And Virizian's kind of tempting here, just to close combat Scrafty. It's my only way of really hitting it for super effective damage. Though I guess Volcarona with Rocky Helmet can, you know, disrupt it a fair amount. And then for the last one, Landorus is kind of tempting here, especially against physical type attackers, getting Intimidates off. Though Rotom Wash also beats Cloyster and Salamence pretty hard. So it's between those two, you know, whether I want the Intimidate or whether I want something that walls it a bit more. I'm going to go for Rotom here, actually. So I'm going to keep Virizian on the bench here, but, you know, Virizian doesn't like facing against Aegislash at all. It has really no way to beat it. Leaf Blade does absolutely nothing. Close Combat doesn't even affect it. Stone Edge doesn't do very much. Meowstic can also disrupt it. Maybe Virizian would have been the call here, but especially against a Cloyster, which is, I'm assuming, Choice Scarf, don't want to really risk it. So, I'm going to lead with my Alakazam and my Bishop, as my opponent leads with Scrafty and Cloyster. So, I am going to be able to get that nice Defiant boost immediately to kick off the game, which is fantastic. And then Alakazam here can also get a Trace off. So, you know, obviously activating Bishop's Defiant, which is fantastic here. And let's see. Could also switch my Alakazam out into Volcarona, and then use the Rage Powder to redirect attacks away. I'm kind of tempted to do that right now. Yep. That's the play I'm going to go for. Just because once Volcarona is out, well, I would assume that this Cloyster is going to lock himself into something like Icicle Spear. You know, I haven't played a Cloyster in VGC since like 2012, so I'm assuming it's Choice Scarfed. It might not be, and if that's the case, I'll be a bit scary. But I'm going to make a safer play here. At least it ensures that Bishop comes out this first turn with the +1 boost and doesn't take any damage. He does go for the Fake Out there onto Volcarona, which is fantastic because he's going to be taking that Rocky Helmet damage, and I get the Flame Body, which is really, really nice. Looks like he doesn't have Lumberry either. Perfect. He does go for the Shell Smash there with the Cloyster though, which is pretty cool to see. So that's going to, you know, decrease his defenses but increase his attack, special attack, and speed, which is definitely pretty scary. Kind of interesting to note there though that he didn't have the not the Mentor, the Wider, which you normally use with Cloysters. So this is kind of scary now because he could just Drain Punch me. I mean, what I could do is Protect here and knock off for Sucker Punch. I wonder if Sucker Punch is enough to knock out Cloyster. I don't think it is. Cloyster's pretty bulky, if I remember correctly. It's been a very long time since I played one. The Protect here is kind of obvious. Or I could just Rage Powder. You know what? I'm gonna Rage Powder. And I'll Sucker Punch here. See if we can maybe pick up a knockout at +1 and at -1 defense. Though Cloyster might also be Focus Sash, which would make some sense to me. Okay, so I do get the Sucker Punch off. Let's see how much it does. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pick up the knockout. Oh, he's got Rock Blast. Cool. Yeah, so that's obviously going to be able to knock me out easily as Volcarona goes down. So we've seen Rock Blast, we've seen Shell Smash. I wonder what the last two attacks are. Unfortunately, Scrafty here is going to be able to get a very nice Drain Punch off, and you know, I probably should have tried to conserve Volcarona a bit better in this game. So Scrafty doesn't knock me out, doesn't bring me down to its Sash. He is still burned, which is obviously good, but this is going to be a tough one to close out. Let's see, I'll bring in Rotom Wash here, yeah. Rotom Wash definitely pretty helpful at this point in the game. And here I'm just gonna go for the Thunderbolt. And well, let's see. If you're my opponent here, I think you Rock Blast Rotom and Drain Punch Bisharp. So I could Sucker Punch the Cloyster. So I really want Bisharp though, because Bisharp's just really good in this game, and I kind of lost a lot of momentum by losing Volcarona that easily. So tough call to make here. He might also Protect, but I guess if he protects, that's fine. I could also Protect with Rotom and Iron Head Scrafty. No, I'm just gonna go for the knockout here, I think. Yeah. Ooh, he goes for the Quick Guard there with Scrafty. Really good play. I presume he's actually gonna go for the Rock Blast onto, or the Icicle Spear here, onto Bisharp? Yeah. So he's gonna be able to knock me out here. I didn't go for the Sucker Punch, but he made the right target there since, you know, it's the bigger threat. So I'm gonna be able to knock out Cloyster, but I'm guessing he runs Icicle, no Water type attack then, which makes sense. So I'm gonna knock out Cloyster, but I am down 3-2, and you know, he's got he's got the Scrafty on the opposing end, which is a bit scary. Of course, I can trace the Intimidate and then also shuffle Intimidates through Skill Swap, but Alakazam obviously not a Pokemon you want to end the game with when you're facing against bulkier Pokemon. Looks like my opponent's going to bring out the Meowstic, which I'm actually not too scared to see here. Meowstic, not the biggest of threats, but losing Bisharp there was, you know, definitely hurt a lot. So he probably has Salamence in the back. If that's the case, then you know, I'm still definitely in this game, but it's going to be a tough one to close out. I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt here onto Scrafty, and I'm just going to Mega Evolve and go for the Protect here. See what ability I can take away or trace. But, you know, Meowstic, kind of a threat, but doesn't do too much offensively. So it's going to come down to basically what my opponent's last Pokemon is. I do trace the Prankster, which can make Skill Swap Shenanigans kind of fun. So I can, you know, Skill Swap away immediately the following turn. He goes for the Light Screen there with Meowstic. Fantastic play on his end. So Alakazam really isn't going to be able to do very much right now. And if he's smart, he probably went for the target onto my Rotom as well. Thunderbolt doesn't do too much. And smartly enough, he does go for the knockoff onto Rotom. Makes the correct play there, getting rid of my Citrus Berry. You know, Scrafty, HP definitely dwindling down. Oh, he's Citrus Berry Scrafty. Very interesting. That is neat. So I can definitely Skill Swap the Intimidate this next turn away from the Scrafty. And, you know, give myself Intimidate, intimidating him. The question is, what do I want to do with Rotom? Do I want to target down that Meowstic? I think I should focus my efforts on Scrafty right now. So I'm going to double target it here with the Skill Swap and a Thunderbolt. So I'm going to give it Prankster, but Scrafty's not a Pokemon that can really use Prankster to great advantage. So that Intimidate means that Scrafty is pretty heavily shut down right now, but, you know, Alakazam being as frail as it is will still take a fair amount of damage. As he goes for the Safeguard there with Meowstic. Good play there. I almost went for the Will-O-Wisp onto Meowstic. Not the case. Rotom's going to be able to at least get a Thunderbolt off here against the Scrafty. Doesn't do too much damage. So he goes for the Drain Punch here onto Rotom, which I'm okay with since he's burned and intimidated. That only does 18 damage, which is really nothing. So stalling out the game right now, it's, you know, going back and forth, but I'll take whatever I can get. I just wonder what his last Pokemon is. Because if it's Salamence, Rotom and Alakazam might be able to just do, you know, finish it off. But I'm gonna stall out a turn of Light Screen here and go for the Double Protect. I wonder if he switches out here, actually. Nope, he's not going to. Okay. So I just want to see what he does. Fun thing here I can do is actually take away the Prankster from Meowstic, which I might do. Give it Intimidate. Oh, he's got Swagger. Wow, he's swaggering himself. Oh, because he's got Safeguard. Oh, very, very cool. That's a fantastic play as he goes for the Drain Punch onto Rotom once again. I like that very much. I'm gonna go for the Hydro Pump here because with the yeah, he's gonna Swagger himself, I would guess. Yeah. So with the Light Screen up, I don't know if Hidden Power Ice plus Thunderbolt can pick up the knockout. So I really need to knock out this Scrafty because I cannot afford it to get another attack off. Hidden Power Ice here. Actually, Thunderbolt would have been able to finish it off, but I fortunately connect with Hydro Pump. So obviously gambling a little bit there, but at least I pick up the knockout and Scrafty goes down. So it's going to come down to what my opponent's last Pokemon is. This game really going down to the wire. Mega Alakazam being, you know, able to do some fun things here. It looks like Salamence is my opponent's last one. So Hidden Power Ice can obviously do a ton of damage, but not knock it out. And I don't like let this Meowstic as Swagger, because anytime you face against Swagger, you know, it's not fun. But what do I want to do here? Do I want to just... He might Protect with Salamence. So I could predict the Protect and double Protect here. Oh man, this is intense. Because I think if I were my opponent, I'd Protect Salamence, just seeing the Hidden Power Ice, and then Swagger the Alakazam. So I could predict that, go for the Thunderbolt onto... You know what, I'm still going to Thunderbolt Salamence in the off chance he doesn't Protect. That way Hidden Power Ice can knock it out, since I'm not sure it can right now, given that he's got the light screen up. So the knockoff onto Rotom earlier was a really clutch play, because if I had my Citrus Berry, I'd feel a bit more comfortable right now, but obviously I don't. So Alakazam's going to Protect here. What does Salamence go for? Does he attack? Okay, we do see the Swagger onto Alakazam. He goes for the Dragon Dance with Salamence. Oh, that's a clutch move. That's really, really good. But I'm surprised he just went for that risk. If I were him, I would have just protected Swagger. I mean, no, he just outplayed me there. Now he can just attack the Alakazam. Wow, really nicely done there. So if I went for the Hidden Power Ice and he Protect Swaggered me, I guess it'd still rely on one Confusion hit. Now he just outspeeds me and knocks me out. So I think I had to gamble there by going for the Hidden Power Ice. Now he can just Swagger and go for like a return or a double edge. It looks like he's going to target the Rotom, but unfortunately now Salamence outspeeds the Alakazam after the Dragon Dance. So I didn't think my opponent would take that gamble. Oh wow, I'm faster still? Does Hidden Power Ice knock out Salamence? I don't think so with Light Screen. I should have targeted that slot. Oh. Alakazam goes down, but even if I targeted that slot though, I think the Swagger Shenanigans would have been able to win in the game. I do get the Thunderbolt off here. Oh, I did target Salamence. What is this game? Oh my gosh. Safeguard goes down. I wonder if he's gonna... I mean, I think if he's smart enough, he's just gonna set up a Safeguard. Now it's Rotom against Swagger, and we all know how this has gone in the past. I could risk the Will-O-Wisp, but I don't think my opponent's gonna let me. He's just gonna Safeguard, so I'm just gonna go for Thunderbolt here. Nope, he just went for the Swagger. Alright. Well, that makes sense. So, I'm gonna have to attack through a bunch of these. Honestly, the rolls are not in my favor. Oh, but I snap out of Confusion. Hey, that's exactly what I need. We take those. Thunderbolt gets a crit there too, so RNG right now rolling in my favor. Do I want to risk the Will-O-Wisp? Let's see. Thunderbolt. I still need a fair amount of Thunderbolts. I'm gonna go for the Will-O-Wisp here. I don't think he has an offensive attack since he's relying on Swagger continuously. Oh boy. So really rolling the dice here right now, but let's see. I was not expecting Mega Alakazam to outspeed +1 Mega Salamence. Can Rotom connect with Will-O-Wisp? It... doesn't connect, but Light Screen wears off. I wonder if he's going to try to set up another Light Screen or a Safeguard, seeing because he saw that I went for the Will-O-Wisp. I'm going to just Thunderbolt here. Nope, he makes the right play, goes for the Light Screen. Nicely done. Alright, come on Rotom, you can do this. He snaps out of Confusion again! What is going on? This can't be happening right now. What in the world? A double crit! Well, now he didn't have Citrus Berry either. I mean, he can still win this game if I hit myself in Confusion like 3 times, since I am at +6 attack now, and obviously Confusion damage is based off how much attack I have. Oh my gosh, can Rotom do it? Can he do it? Nope, 1 hit. That does 30 damage, yeah, so he needs 3 more, myself to hit myself in Confusion 3 more times. Yeah, he has no offensive attack on that Meowstic. Wow, what a crazy game. Oh, Rotom! Wow, this is the most clutch Rotom's ever been. Why couldn't you have been like this at 2013 Worlds, man? I guess Rotom's trying to make up for it, the disappointing loss back then, but clutch factor there as I get very lucky, managed to break out of Confusion multiple times. Rotom hits itself in Confusion once, and we managed to really steal a game away from there. Swagger ultimately is not God, not being able to beat me in that end there. Really great game to my opponent there, though. I thought it was completely over when that Salamence got the Dragon Dance up, but then Alakazam still outspeeding and getting that hidden power Ice off. So obviously that Mega Salamence on my opponent's end not being the speediest, but wow, what an intense way to close out today's episode. Two really fun games, you know, the first one being really scary after Tailwind and up, and then that second game just being crazy all around, but really fun game. And of course I, now do remember the Scrafty at the Citrus Berries. Obviously the Meowstic couldn't have it, but still, scary, because I also got 2 critical hits, which is kind of crazy. So basically all the RNG rolling in my favor in that last one, but we'll take it, and that's why you can't rely on Swagger to win games. But really fun episode for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed it as we pick up 2 wins. Leave a like always if you did, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alright, peace.